Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on, it's on, it's on, it's on brand.
Hey, John, when did it become normal for a company that you sign up for their emails, that they email you every 45 minutes of the day? Starting at 5 a.m.?
Some are very aggressive. I've recently joined the mailing list of, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say names.
Yeah, say name. Are you kidding? That's all we're doing is say names.
I know, I was kidding. The Sundance catalog. Sundance catalog probably emails me 6 times a day.
It's outrageous. What is the Sundance catalog? Is it? Wait, let me guess. Wind chimes, bird baths,
wired
reindeer, cranes that go in your yard with little jingly bells on them.
Already rusty for $249.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? This is what I guess, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I bought a quilt from them. I mean,
wait,
they're fun.
Recently? Your bed does not need any more blankets.
I have a bedding obsession.
You know what I love though? Since you have your maid.
Yeah, well, let's say because I have a housekeeper in employ.
Now that you have a maid, your bedding is getting washed a lot.
Okay.
So you're getting an opportunity to like use the bedding because this was kind of like a thing. Like you have a vast collection of bedding.
Yeah.
And then I remember we went to Ikea, which is funny because this is Ikea, but we went to Ikea a few years ago and I think you bought sheets that were like $1.99 to like keep on your bed.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it depends. I will pick a sheet based on its color more than its thread count because
you are truly the only person on earth who operates like that.
Well, I'm happy to be different.
You got like black sheets that felt like the other part of Velcro.
They were really rough.
They were really rough.
But I'm disgusting in the fact that I don't wash my bedding a lot. So at that time,
I think a lot of people do if they don't, like a lot of people are like that if they don't have like, you know.
I also I sleep on top of most of my blankets. Even the housekeeper, I don't know what the color, Nellie, her name Nellie. And she looked at my bed. She could tell how little of the bed I actually sleep in because half the bed stays completely made. So it's like this little envelope I pull back and I lay in and then I close back up.
Do you still sleep in shoes? Wasn't there a while where you were sleeping in shoes? Am I crazy? You were sleeping in shoes for a while.
Shoes.
I
There's I would say probably 3 times a year I fall asleep in shoes.
Okay, that's all right. That's three times a year more than me. But,
and then I will probably kick them off at some point in the night.
But what do you sleep? Wasn't it like it's like pants, jeans?
You are obsessed with how I sleep.
Yeah, of course. It's fascinating.
Okay, in a normal night. Normal, I would say I sleep in.
Honestly, the whole podcast could be your bed.
Well, we'll do it. Let's find a bedding brand. I sleep in boxer briefs, a t-shirt. I have a fan in the window open a crack, a fan on the side table on the other side of me, a heated blanket.
This is like an iguana habitat.
It's like if it was a weather system, I would create a hurricane.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember you like contrast of hot and cold.
I like a variation of hot and cold. I like to get so cold that I'm mad. So in the middle of the night, I'm mad. And then I slide my leg into that heated blanket pocket.
Your shoed foot.
My shoed foot. I don't know why I think that's so funny. No, my sometimes socked foot. Yeah, sometimes I wear socks. Okay. What do you sleep in? You're nude? You and David are just nude lovers?
No, like probably a pajama shirt and not pants.
You seem a little bit like you would have bought a nightgown from that nightgown store.
The nightgown store?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
In Montrose.
Yeah.
Like if you had a knock on your door in the middle of the night, you would get up and put on like another thing.
I would love like a thick flannel 1994 nightgown with like little tiny roses on it, like a high Victorian collar.
Go to Goodwill.
Maybe I will.
You can find that. I don't like robes.
You don't like robes?
No.
Why not?
I've never liked them.
You know why? Because, okay, you don't like being naked?
No.
So I feel like, what do you do when you get out of the shower? You immediately dry off and then put on clothes.
Yeah.
So robes are kind of like in between naked and clothed time.
I don't like that big V of chest hair.
On yourself or on anybody?
On myself. I like it on other people.
Wow. Think on that for a minute.
We have something to unpack here.
That's really something to unpack. Night. Love it for others, but not yourself. Well, John, who should we love the most?
I mean, sexually, I feel like others.
No, yourself.
You love yourself
You're
sexually
supposed to be
the
most sexually attracted to yourself first, and others second.
Then I am definitely doing everything wrong. Do you remember that time when you first moved in here and I came over unannounced and you and David were in the shower? And I was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I don't remember how long.
Nothing was happening. It's funny because there were some shower shenanigans, I'm sure, at that time, but in that time period, but not that. I think we had just we're having a conversation.
You were, and I felt like
that's a married couple thing to have conversations in the shower.
Yeah, and I didn't know that until then because I'm single most of.
Have you ever showered with someone else?
I have.
Really?
I did have
a lover.
A lover.
Wow.
And I loved it because. This is so sad why I liked it. One, I like everything to be squeaky clean and smell good. Mm-hmm. Two, he couldn't see very well without his glasses. Mm-hmm. And I'm always quite self-conscious. So I love that he was blind.
The perfect man, partially blind.
Just blind, slipping and sliding all around.
Did you stomp on his glasses so he could be...
Yeah, to make sure that he would always love me.
Well...
maybe it's time we get into it.
Sounds good.
Tonight... You're in for a doozy. I mean, I've had so much fun this week learning about this brand. I already thought I knew Ikea.
Ikea is huge. We all know Ikea.
I was actually thinking of that today. Do we all know Ikea? Like we live in California, so we have 8 Ikeas kind of in our vicinity.
I've heard that some people do have to drive an hour or two, a pilgrimage to Ikea. But I think that even that is so normalized in our lives that everybody knows how close their local Ikea is.
Right. But I mean, I've run to Ikea just to get like Ziploc bags because I like their Ziploc bags.
Which is unreal.
I feel like there's probably people in states that are like, it's probably not a place they go to for like a common errand.
The Ziploc bags are really on everybody's radar as much as they are yours.
Well, they have nice designs. They come.
I've been at Ikea and you said, "Can you get me bags?
Can you pick me up?" There's 3 different boxes. Each box has 2 different sizes. It's kind of perfect, and I love them. Well, are you ready to learn about Ikea?
Baby, I was born ready.
Well, let's get into it then. So, okay, picture it. It's 1931.
The rolling hills of Sweden.
The rolling hills of Sweden. We've never been there, but we can picture it. Probably blue skies. Now, close your eyes, and I want you to picture a 5-year-old boy walking around. No, okay. Okay, let's picture. I don't know what's in your head, but picture like, okay, he's wearing like.
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Brown?
Yes. It was brown.
Brown? Suspenders.
Yeah.
Yes, it was trousers with suspenders. Little houndstooth hat.
Yep.
Little like linen blouse tucked in.
Mm-hmm.
Little boots all laced up.
Carries his goods around with a leather strap. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've got it.
So wait, I have a question.
Okay.
When little boys would carry their books around in a belt, was that a belt or was it a separate device? Was that like a book belt or a pants belt? I'm asking you from your childhood what you remember.
Well, I'm just gonna let it sit. Let's sit on that. So that was a joke, like an age joke.
This is an audio.
That was an age joke. Is that because last week I said you look
come on, a little payback.
2 years older than you actually are?
I will say that for the listeners, I don't know how old John is, and we've been friends for 15 years.
That's not what this episode's about. Close your eyes. Picture it. 1931. We have a 5-year-old boy going house to house selling something. What do you think this kid is selling?
Well, it's Ikea, so I'm imagining a $12 end table. They have a $12 end table. The lack.
Now.
The lack.
We're like 50 years away from that. Would you be surprised if I told you it was matchbooks?
Wow, I am. That was not on my radar.
Well, would you also...
5-year-olds typically cannot handle matches, let alone sell them.
It's a different time. In 1931, 5-year-olds were definitely allowed to play with matches. He would go on to sell also things like Christmas cards, magazines, garden seeds, and fish.
I did not expect that.
I bet you didn't see that coming.
Were they all like strung on a line?
That I don't know. Unfortunately,
Hook in mouth.
I'm sorry?
Hook in mouth.
Oh, the fish? Mm-hmm. No, but can I do an aside really quick?
Of course, always.
On a personal antidote?
Antidote?
I never say that word right. Okay, this goes in the pile of words I can't say well. How do you say it? This is antidote. It's not antidote. Anecdote. Is
you
that
got
right?
it. Anecdote, yeah.
Okay. So I came across a picture of my grandfather holding a string of fish when he was like a young man, like a black and white picture, really cool. And then at some point in my life, I came across a picture of my father as a young boy holding a string of fish, almost identical. And now you're going to think that I'm making this up, and I don't know where I came across it. But about 10 years ago, I came across a photograph of myself holding a string of fish as a young boy. I tell you, when I have goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps right now because when I saw that third one, it was like I had just won a slot machine of life, and I got all 3 of those photographs printed.
Wow.
Put them in a frame with 3 things, gave it to my father for Christmas.
Oh my God.
And I swear to God, he got teary. I don't know if I've ever seen my dad get teary at a gift. But, I mean, come on. 3 generations of men holding strings of fish.
God,
and what was I
doing
doing
better
with
than that?
What was I doing with a string of fish?
Do you remember? Okay, I love this story because it's so beautiful and sweet, but it's also very spooky. Because, like, do you remember going fishing?
I'm glad you asked because I do remember going fishing.
Okay.
And I had no desire to pierce a worm on a hook. So I asked my dad if it would be okay if I fished with grapes. And he let me fish with grapes. And I never caught anything, but I also never had to, like, put a worm on a hook or rip a hole in a fish's mouth, which both things I find off-putting.
I agree. I think that's so yucky.
Okay, so we have this 5-year-old boy. He's selling these things. When he's 14, he goes to school. He starts selling stuff to his classmates.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did people sell stuff when you were a kid? Because this was like a thing in my middle school, elementary school, where some kids would come to school with like a box of like lollipops or something, and they would like sell them to this isn't like through the program. This isn't to raise money. This is just like their mom went to Costco, got a bag of lollipops, and they're like peddling them to the other kids.
I literally can't believe some of the questions you asked me. Because I was one of those children. We didn't have Costco. We had, I think it was called Biggs, which was a grocery store you buy things in surplus. And my dad would take me there. My dad was all about ways that his children could earn money.
This is a good daddy episode for you. Fishing.
And Father's Day's coming up.
Father's Day.
In like a couple weeks.
That's
so
true.
that's kind of
Wow. Perfect.
So he would buy me a large box of blow pops, the suckers that had the gum in them, and I would go around to school and sell them for like, I think, 25 cents. And I eventually got caught because I was the only one doing it, and a teacher finally asked me what I was selling them for. And I said, just myself. And she's like, oh, you can't do that. And they took my whole business away from me.
Oh, like it had to be for like charity?
Yeah, you can't just be peddling.
It's very unlike you to not lie in that moment.
That might have been before I had developed the skills to lie
to
to people of authority.
Yeah. That would soon pay off in spades.
Yeah. So now we've got this kid. He's selling things to his classmates. Clearly selling is in his DNA.
A regular Mark Cuban.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Mark Cuban. At 17, he launches a mail order business. His dad helps him get the name Ikea. Even in that, I know that you made a joke about them selling end tables. Even then, they were only selling like picture frames and actually watches and things that we are not familiar with today. It wasn't until 1948 that he introduced a sampling of furniture, and he was not convinced that it would do well. And I think we all know at this point that it does. But at that time, it was a little like he had said, I'm putting this out there. If people like it, I will continue to do that. And that was really when IKEA
It's a big risk, and it paid off.
Yeah, and we love those stories, right?
I
Things that
love
look
that.
so common now, and they're so like kind of new at the time.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
What does IKEA mean to you? Like, what's a memory for you with this brand?
I have been to IKEA at so many like new beginning phases in my life. Like, I feel like that's always like you move out on your own. The first like set of dishes I got all for myself were from IKEA. I feel like it's such a place you go when you have your first apartment and you're getting everything. So it's like you're realizing I don't have a spatula. I don't have a cutting board. I don't have a mug. And you're getting everything at a really...
I don't have a friend.
I don't have one friend. And I'm here to make one at IKEA, which you can because the employees were very nice. We'll get to that later.
Or you just hang out in the restaurant all day.
Which is an option too. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. I agree. I do. It's kind of like whenever I smell fresh paint, it makes me think of beginnings. It makes me think of every time I moved into an apartment, and IKEA is kind of the same way. Like,
my first couch that I had when I had my first apartment was the IKEA Ektorp. It was like a little love seat kind of with like a slip cover. I had a party and a girl threw up on it, and I think I threw it away. But
I love that. You know what I hate? You know what it's that for some, I don't know why this made me think of that. It made me picture the catalog for some reason. And what I hate is, you know me, I collect a million things. And I went through kind of like a big like de-hoarding in 2014. I had collected for like 20 years every Pottery Barn and IKEA catalog. And I regret so much getting rid of those, only because like it's so cool to be able to look back on those and see what prices were.
Yeah, for the archives, that's fun. I guess the question with that is like, is it your duty to keep it, or could somebody else keep it and maybe like scan it and then you could see it online?
No, I did feel like it was my responsibility.
Okay, so now that we're talking about IKEA and things that we've held on to.
Yeah.
We were kind of helping you get into your storage space a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We came across some real dusty old metal locker cube storage from IKEA.
Those are one of those things that I love them. IKEA has this like locker looking collection.
They do have a lot of lockers.
For some reason.
If you ever wanted to open like a gym, that would be a good place to swing by.
Or a school.
Yeah, a high school. If you want to open a high school.
If you would open a high school.
I would definitely stop at IKEA
in your
first.
home. You could do that at IKEA. So I had bought I do that dumb thing of like, I know it's almost like Trader Joe's.
Do you panic that it's going to be gone?
That it'll be gone. Yeah. So I buy all of them. Like, I don't have room for all of them.
You had more than 8.
I would say 8. I would say I had exactly 8 or 10 or I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But I like them. I still haven't used them. They're
a piece of history now. I mean, clearly.
Yeah, they're part of my...
Do you remember the first time you went to IKEA? Was there one in Cincinnati, or did you go as a young person or as an adult in the big city in LA?
We didn't have them in Ohio. They opened one in Ohio since I've lived here in Cincinnati. So we did not have them when I lived there. My first time was here. I would assume my first time was in the Burbank one, which is the one we went to today, even though that one was moved down the street and was built recently into, I don't know if you know this, the largest IKEA in North America is the one we went to? The one that we went to in Burbank.
It has a street. The street that you turn on to get into it has been changed to IKEA Way, which I always love. Like the exit to get to Disneyland is Disney Way. I feel like that really is a good on-ramp.
You know where I don't like that? On Sunset Boulevard. Is it Boulevard? Sunset Boulevard, there's an L. Ron Hubbard way. I don't think in 20 years I've driven down Sunset Boulevard where I don't get that light, and it makes me insane. And I will say, if there's Scientology people on the street when I get that light, I roll down the window, I yell, not like yell like a crazy person, but I'm like, I just want you to know you're in a cult. I know you think I'm a suppressive person by saying that.
I bet they love that.
But you're in a cult. Try to get to an internet. Google Scientology cult. But I don't remember my first time at IKEA, but I remember a very early memory of IKEA that a friend of mine, Christine, and I used to do. We used to work on films, and we worked in props and set decorating. And we had just moved to LA. We were fresh to town, had no money. And when I say no money, like I would ask my landlord to divide my rent in thirds and like every like week and a half pay him a chunk of rent. I had no money. But we managed to use IKEA as a way to decorate our homes through film production. So we would get a certain amount of money, and if we would either have to rent things or purchase them. And anything you purchase, you have to return to production at the end of the show. So we would literally buy everything from IKEA, because if you've ever looked at an IKEA receipt, you have no idea what those items were. They're all Swedish words.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be like
wow,
Farkin for $14, and it would be a lamp that we wanted, but we would give production some dumb thing that we got at the thrift store. So we were swapping out all this junky stuff for IKEA stuff and literally decorated our homes that way.
Wow, that is brilliant.
Yeah, so that's one of my earliest memories of IKEA.
That's genius. Oh, this is a sidebar, but I was at Target the other day and I thought of a shoplifting hack.
Okay.
And I was curious if this is anything that they have any like plans in place for, because I know you're a former shoplifter.
I am a big former shoplifter.
Okay, so I was returning a toy for Peggy that I didn't give to her for Christmas because she had enough.
Yeah.
And so I was returning it, and I had it in my shopping cart when I went into the store. Like it was not wrapped or anything. It came online, so I just had it like loose. And I put it in my shopping cart and I brought it into the store. And then I walked up to the customer service desk with like my receipt that was on my phone. And I thought, what would stop me from taking one off the shelf? Like, say I did buy it. I buy something for $50. I have the product still. I get one off the shelf and I show the customer service person my receipt and I pretend that that's the one that I got out of my car.
I think that is actually a thing people try to get away with. Yeah.
God, I'm so scared of shoplifting. I could never do it. But I was wondered if they had if an item has like a unique code or something to where you can't do that.
Well, I don't know if you ever returned anything to Macy's, but they put a sticker on your thing that they scan that shows that you bought that particular one. So if you get a different pair
that
of
was
jeans,
right. If it had a unique code. You've never done that particular shoplifting scam?
No, when I shoplifted, I mean, I was a kid and I just straight up shoplifted. Like we would
5-finger discount.
Yeah, like we would set goals for ourselves. I had my little vampire coven shoplifting friends, and we shoplifted a lot of music. So I would set out for them and be like, today I'm shoplifting the entire catalog of Depeche Mode. And we would bounce around from store to store.
Was that on 8-track?
CDs and tapes. Not 8-tracks. I wish that I had Cure 8-tracks or Cocteau Twin 8-tracks. No, I mean, okay. I do remember her stealing vinyl, which I was very impressed by.
How did you do that down the back of the pants?
Because she was like, she dressed frumpy dumpy, like goth vampire lady of the night. Like she wore these big floppy dresses. I remember watching her. I was across the store and she like picked up a stack of, I think, Sister of Mercy records or something and looked at me and then just like lowered them where I couldn't see them. And then they were just under her dress and she walked out.
In like her like crushed velvet maxi skirt.
100%.
Yeah. Wow.
Smelling like patchouli and roses.
Yeah.
This was the woman who would eventually bite my neck and make me leave the vampire coven.
I mean, the employees are not getting paid well enough to follow her and say, "Excuse me, miss, can I see under your crushed velvet maxi skirt to see if you have a vinyl record under there?" Did you ever get caught?
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
I got caught 3 times.
3?
The worst time, oh man, I got caught at the mall. Angie and I were like shoplifting so much. Okay, so we went to the mall with the whole decision to shoplift. I had a trench coat. I was so deep in this, I had designed a shoplifting trench coat.
Oh my God.
It looked like a Say Anything trench coat, like olive green or khaki.
Tell me it had hidden pockets.
It didn't have hidden pockets. It had slits in the normal pockets.
Oh my God.
So I could take something, put it in my pocket and drop it, and it would go to the bottom of the coat.
And if I didn't, like the lining?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
brilliant.
if I didn't go to the car to unload, after a while, I'm like, the bottom of my coat's like clanking around because I've dropped so much stuff in it. So we kept going to the car to like unload this stuff. So then I'm like, I got to go in for one more batch. And did
anybody think you were just like a wayward detective?
Yes, a couple of people did confuse
just
me
like
for detective, and they were trying
clues?
to. Yeah, they said that they were looking for a missing person, and I said,
"Yeah,
here's my card. We'll get back to you." The funny thing about when I got caught, I mean, I won't go all into it. We'll get back to IKEA. When I say I shoplifted, like it was beyond what most people can imagine.
I mean, usually like my friends who did, it would be like they would take a lip gloss or something.
Well, funny you say that. We'll get to that. But when I say it's beyond what people, we lived in a neighborhood that was being developed. So I don't know if you've ever, it's not like that here in California, but in Ohio, when a neighborhood's being developed, they have a model home. It's a big, beautiful home. It's fully decorated. So people can come and walk through that home and see what the home that will be built that they're going to buy is going to eventually kind of look like. Somehow, my cool friend Ann and I were able to break into the model home. So we would go there and party. Like, she would drink. I would pretend to drink because I was scared to drink. And one night, I stole furniture, a 3-piece furniture set from this house. And it was snowing. I could drive at this point.
Wait, 3-piece furniture, what, like a headboard, a dresser, and a nightstand?
I love that guess. No, it was like a coffee table, a round end table. Not a coffee table, like an end table, like a square, like table? Small things, like a small square table that was open on the bottom, a round table that was kind of like a column that had like a door that opened. Okay. And I forget what the third piece is.
Wait, how did you break in? You didn't like smash a window.
We didn't smash a window. There was one time we were able to get in because it was, I think, unlocked. And after that, when we were in there in that initial time, we were rummaging through the sales office. And in that office, got in a drawer, and there was a box that said Master Keys. So we realized...
Jon, you're a bad boy.
Listen, I was a vampire. I went through a stage. I would never do this stuff now. But the way the box of Master Keys worked is we learned, I don't know how we figured this out. Once a house sold, you could use that key to get in any house in the neighborhood. Once the house sold, the lock would change and that key wouldn't work anymore. Something like that. So, but we had a key that allowed us to get in this house. And oh my God. And I just remembered, oh my God, I feel like we were in this house once before I stole the furniture. And someone came in. Oh my God, I think I've blocked this out. And I know it sounds like I'm making this up, but someone came in and we had to hide. We had to hide in the house, and we moved from room to room, hiding from these people as all these things are coming up to me. I remember stealing a little giraffe. We're getting way off subject. But anyway, so we were able to get out of the house and not get caught. And then I went back one more time for my big steal, which is the one I'm telling you about. And the funny thing is, I felt like I was such a professional thief. It was snowing.
Sounds like you were a professional thief.
And there was snow on the ground, and I didn't want them to know I had a key to the house. So I made tracks back and forth from the window all around in different directions, so they thought I had broken in from the window and didn't use the front door.
Jesus
and so
Christ.
The question you should be asking is, what did your parents think when they opened your bedroom and you had 3 pieces of basically Golden Girls furniture in your bedroom that they didn't purchase for you?
That is the obvious question. What did they say?
I told them I bought it from my boss at the yogurt shop I worked at.
Why would a teenager buy mahogany side tables from their boss at a yogurt shop?
That's a beautiful question.
And they didn't ask any follow-up questions. They said, okay, fine, shut the door, and then went back to watch Dateline.
You know what will kill you? These pieces of furniture are still in my mom's basement.
No.
When I moved, I had them. I still have them.
They don't haunt you every time you look at them?
No. I mean, life moves on.
I guess we've been haunted by plenty else since then.
Yes, a lot has happened since then. So
that's the great thing about being a kid. You can really you're kind of like haunt proof, you know? Like if you get it out of the way early enough, assuming like you don't kill anybody.
Yeah, I mean, 15 years goes by or however long it's been.
Yeah, you're what? 16, 17 years
old? You know, I'm still quite young. So I liked what you were saying about you think of like when you get your first apartment, you go to Ikea. Another thing I read that Ikea prides itself on is, and this blew my mind like the name, they want to make things that are affordable and not cheap. So to ensure this will always be the case, they decide the price of an item before the item is created.
Wow.
So they say, we're going to make a $60 bookcase.
Interesting.
And work backwards. So they figure out what materials they can work with under that price guide. So I found that, I'm not in furniture manufacturing. I don't know if you know that.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, but I found that what I assume is a completely unusual way to work.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, just the assumption is that everything is very cheaply made. And I think it's almost like you have to know what is cheap and what's not, because they do have a lot of stuff that's like solid wood, and then they have a lot of stuff that's that particle board, the MDF. Let's talk about our trip to Ikea.
Okay.
So we pulled up to Ikea in the middle of the day around lunchtime.
Arrived.
I gotta say, Arriving at an IKEA without the intent to purchase anything feels psychotic. I felt like it felt wild to be, because it's like always a little bit of like you're psyching yourself up. You're like, am I mentally prepared for this?
But see, I feel differently when you go on a weekday. Like I will never go to IKEA on a weekend.
I've made that mistake.
I'd have to get paid, I think, to go on a weekend.
I've done dragging a husband to IKEA on a Sunday.
Yeah,
with
never.
Skipping lunch.
No.
And let's just say, if you think your marriage is rock solid, the cracks will reveal themselves.
I haven't found anyone to love me, let alone commit like a lifetime to me. But I assume that would be hard.
You know, and I think it's so brilliant that IKEA has a restaurant, because I think that they know, like, if you're coming here, don't fool yourself. You're about to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. You need protein. You need sugar. You need carbs. You need elderberry juice.
Yeah, I was going to say a berry drink from a berry you've never heard of. Lingonberry juice. I will say, in all the time I've lived here, I've never eaten in the IKEA restaurant.
I can't believe, I was shocked to hear that, because that to me is like the iconic IKEA brand experience. But so we started on, you also never walk the showroom.
I have walked the showroom.
But it's not like part of your regular, like, even if I know there's something I need to get in the marketplace, if I know I only need a cork trivet, I'm still doing the maze. I'm following the arrows. I'm letting IKEA reveal to me what is missing in my life. I'm telling you, I had not considered a sectional for my living room until being in IKEA, and I have not shut up about sectionals since we went.
So this room's going to become a sectional room.
I mean, it might. I got home and I raced to the measuring tape. Well, no, I first used the paper measuring tape that I got from IKEA, and I strung it end to end because it's only 40 inches. I was like crunching the number. I haven't stopped thinking about. And that, to me, this is the perfect execution of a brand. Sweeping you up into their like ideology of what your life could be, planting a seed in your mind that does not leave until it's satisfied. I'm even considering, I was like, maybe I just get a sectional from IKEA. It's like, I'm infected by it, and there's no cure other than the purchase. Point of sale. Okay, this is the goal. We walked the showroom. We did the couches. We did the kitchens.
We did it all. We did the whole maze. The maze that stresses me out. I guess the IKEA sweats at some point during it. I get really clammy. My arms feel weird. What I don't like about it is it doesn't feel permanent.
What do you mean?
Like, the path doesn't feel permanent because it is laid out with arrows that are made of lights.
No,
which means
it has to be permanent.
No, because why are those lights then? Why wouldn't they be made with yellow tape? Iconic
I thought that was
IKEA
just like an artistic choice.
No, I feel like it's because they can redirect us like cattle to anywhere they want us to go up in that showroom. You
so
go
is feeling like cattle, that's where you draw the line?
It's like you go through 700 kitchens. It has almost like a Disneyland feel to it to me, because everything I'm interested in when I go through the showrooms, there was a yellow octopus in like half of the rooms that I thought was cool. I can't pick up the octopus. Everything is tethered down. It's tied down. It's got plastic straps around it. You can't really do anything with anything.
It's very eerie. It's very sci-fi. You feel like you're in a kitchen. There's plastic food. You open the refrigerator. There's just like a pamphlet about the fridge. That day we were in IKEA, we were losing stamina towards the end. We were getting very weary, very weak. And I did 10,000 steps that day. I'm sure a big chunk of that was IKEA.
Yeah,
I don't crack 10K.
I looked at like the hours that we were there, and yes, it was many thousands of steps.
Many thousands, and there's a way to avoid it. You can circumvent the maze. My thinking is, you're going to IKEA maybe 3 times a year. Like, why would you go on the journey?
See,
lay
that
in the bed,
statement alone, it shows how different
lay on the
we are.
couch.
So you go to IKEA 3 times a year.
Yes, I want to be seduced by the narrative. I want to be seduced by the narrative.
You want to see IKEA? I don't know if you know this. Fun fact: they introduce over 2,000 new items every year. So you were there to experience those. You want to spend half of an afternoon walking through, seeing how you could decorate.
Did you buy the IKEA hat, the bucket hat?
I did. I almost wore it tonight.
Oh, my God.
And I've got a big head, and it doesn't fit. And I still bought it. And I looked in a mirror even. I was like, well, this looks dumb.
Have you ever worn it even once?
I think I wore it once when I was outside in the garden just to say I
maybe a good gardening hat.
It's a blue hat.
It's made out of the bag. I mean, an iconic blue bag.
Okay, so we do this. We go through the maze. We get tired. We decide I'm going to eat at IKEA for the first time. We go. You take me to the cafeteria. You
weren't expecting a cafeteria. I said, grab a tray, baby. Let me show you the ropes.
I didn't. I was blown away a little bit. Like, I didn't know that I could buy a chilled plate of lemon dilled shrimp for $3.
Your move to get shrimp did surprise me. I'm not saying it's the wrong move. It wouldn't have been where I reached.
Right. They looked very creamy and fresh to me.
Yeah. I'm sure they're good. I'm sure the quality is superb. It's not a question of the quality of the shrimp. It's just like,
well, I will say we are talking about a company that did have to recall meatballs
yes,
because they found horse meat in them. We'll get to that later. But yes, knowing that, decided.
And I also ate lunch before. And I said, oh God, I already ate lunch. And I ate like a large lunch. And I said, like, I'm not going to be able to eat meatballs. And then I got there. And just like Ikea reveals to you things you didn't know you needed, I got a plate of plant-based balls with mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce and vegetables, a lingonberry juice, and a slice of gooey chocolate cake.
And I got, when I approached the hot table, they asked me, I said I'd like to get a meatball plate, and they asked me if I would like 12 or 16. I said, I mean, that's insane.
I was also asked if I would like 12 or 16.
I thought 16 was
16
insane.
meatballs?
That feels insane.
16 meatballs is insane. And I had a full lunch, and I thought 12 or 16. I thought, like, well, 16's a lot. 16's crazy. And I said, okay, 12.
Yeah, I laughed. I gave him a chuckle, like, I couldn't eat 16. I could, but I wanted them to feel stupid for asking
So we
me.
both get to the register. I said the man working there is very friendly. He greets me with a huge smile. I say, oh, how is it working here? And he says, it's fantastic. He says, I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary. And I said, oh, you have to celebrate. He says, I know, and especially because this is technically like my first job because I'm not counting Uber. And I said, well, this is certainly a better work environment. He said, I love it. So this guy, every employee I encountered was so happy. But this is where he's been there for 5 years. And then he says, hey, I got to charge you $1 extra for your extra 4 meatballs.
Yeah.
And I said, sir, I'm going to need you to repeat yourself because I got 12 meatballs, which was actually the lesser option.
Yeah.
And he said, no, it comes with 8.
Yeah.
If you want 12, you pay an extra $1.
Yeah. I had this same conversation.
Insane.
He rang up my food and it was like $17 or something, which I'm always in that
you
situation.
got a lot of stuff, though.
Okay.
You got shrimp.
I got a plate of shrimp. I got an apple bar. I got a bag of candy.
On a different day, would you have made a thing out of that and said, like, well, you need to talk to your friend because she said...
I pushed back on a lot of things.
You were there for a while.
Because I was confused. He made it seem like I was charging an extra $1 for 1 extra meatball. I was like, so the order was 11?
$7.99 for a plate of 12 meatballs, or if you want one more meatball, that's cost you $1 per?
I know you weren't there. And I know it doesn't seem like that's plausible.
That doesn't make
sense. That is what I thought he was telling me. And then he's like, then I figured it out. He's like, no.
Ikea said, okay, we want to charge $1 per meatball. Now we need to work backwards and find out how to make the meatballs to where charging $1 is profitable.
He told me, he did give me a rundown after he saw how confused I was.
You were standing there for 15 minutes.
He said that the serving used to be 8 meatballs, but everyone always wanted more. So then they did this $1 for 4, another $1 for 16.
So who's getting 16 meatballs?
Okay, Mar, I got to talk to you about this because I don't know if you saw my plate when we were done. Yeah. I cleared everything. I ate every shrimp. I ate every meatball. I had mashed potatoes. I had peas. I had that jam.
We didn't talk about the meal while we were eating.
No,
what did you think of it?
This
was your first time eating an IKEA plate.
I would say one of my 100 greatest regrets in life is not having that meal sooner. It is now on brand for me to go to IKEA to have a meatball lunch.
That is so funny that you kept this because I remember when we were eating it, you kept such a straight face. And I was thinking, because I devoured it. And this was my second lunch. And I was like, some people come here like just for the meal. I mean, so like a lot of people like it. Like, you know, this is normal. People see how easy it is. It's so nice and cheap and good. I'm so glad you loved it.
Oh, I will eat there. I'll be shocked if I don't eat there once a month.
Wow.
Like, I'll go there on a Wednesday. The restaurant's easy to get to. It's at the end of the maze. Like, as soon as you get there, you can run upstairs.
It's so spacious. I said it'd be a great place to have, like, a bachelorette party, a bridal shower, a baby shower.
Yeah. All my major events will now happen at the IKEA cafeteria.
They couldn't be easier. And you have a beautiful view. You have, like, floor-to-ceiling windows of downtown Burbank.
I mean, who doesn't want to see that? And I'm not going to lie. I will probably spend the extra $1 and have 16 meatballs. They were great. They were great. Oh, I love also the guy that rung me up. I was like, so this is my first time having meatballs. Are they good? He's like, I like them, but not with the gravy. I look down. Mine are literally smothered in gravy. He's like, I like to eat them with honey mustard. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's
He's like,
off menu. He can't be advertising that.
He's like, when you order them, you should order them plain and then get honey mustard from over there. And I was like, well.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, man. The damage has been done. Also, don't you think the first time you eat it, you should eat it as it comes? Next time, sure, get a side of honey mustard. I mean,
yeah, as chef intended.
I'm so glad. Well, anytime you want
I'm
to
not
eat
going
there,
to lie.
I'm
The
happy
shrimp
to eat there with you.
was good. It was like cold and had fresh dill.
You're saying people are sleeping on the Ikea shrimp?
I loved my meal. Every plate was clean.
And your dessert, I tried your dessert bar. It was like a little slice of apple pie.
I had to take it home. I was too full.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really good.
Oh, and another thing that I learned that I thought was really interesting is, you know how everything in IKEA is named after something that you can't pronounce?
Of course.
There's the hookah, bath mat, and everything. Well, I learned that there's actually a naming convention for all of those things. So,
like a convention?
No, not like... I mean, knowing IKEA, there could be. They gather every summer to decide what they're going to do. But no, like a naming convention, like a formula, if you will. So for like bath products, they're named after lakes, rivers, and bays. Outdoor furniture is named after Scandinavian islands. The rugs are named after towns in Denmark or Sweden, and it goes on and on.
That's fun.
I thought that was fun, too.
That's super fun.
Yeah. So that's IKEA.
I had so much fun going to IKEA with you. I want to go at least once a week and not buy anything.
Well, or at least if you do that, at least get the Ziploc bags, because I know that I've tried to push those.
And a plate of cold shrimp.
And always upgrade to the extra $1 for 4 more meatballs, because you're already
you
there.
won't regret it.
Oh, and I have some brand news, if I can share that with you too.
New segment alert.
A new segment alert. This is where we will tell you the hottest things going on with the hottest brands at the current moment. So you will have something to go to your friends with and tell them, you know what I heard? You're not going to believe this.
Find a friend. Tell them. Yes, John, lay it on me.
Mar, you know what I heard?
What?
You're not going to believe this.
What?
What do you think is the biggest seller at Starbucks? 75% of their business.
Black coffee. I really thought so.
Because I know the answer. That seems so stupid, but hearing it...
But no, business people.
Now that you've said it, of course, it does seem like it would be black coffee. That seems so sad, though. You guys, we did it again. It's iced, handcrafted beverages. Anything with ice. Ice. Ice is a key ingredient at Starbucks. And you know what Starbucks is doing?
What?
They're changing their ice.
To pellet ice?
To pellet ice.
Wow.
And this is getting Reddit threads
waves through the community.
The world. People have opinions on this. People are calling it hospital ice. They're calling it coffee bean and tea leaf ice, Sonic ice.
But don't people love pellet ice?
Here's the thing, they do. But people that are paying a lot of money for Starbucks coffee are worried that they won't get as much ice, that the ice will melt.
It does melt faster. That is my one criticism.
Not according... Not according...
It was very, flirty.
To the brass at Starbucks. Starbucks has...
They have, measuring... They have a styrometer, chronographer.
Of course. They've done all the things. They've got the stenographers checking the waves of the earth for the ice. They say that you won't get less ice. The ice won't melt faster. They're on a plan to use less water by 2030, and these machines will allow them to use less water to make this ice. It should be a good thing. I will end with this. I did find this Reddit conversation that I think kind of goes through all the emotions that people are feeling on this, and I'll just read through it. It's about 10 different people. First person says, I feel attacked. The next person, I feel seen. Then I feel felt. And then I felt your feels. I felt some felt. I felt your felt. I felt your feel of the felt. You feel me? I feel ya. And I think that kind of sums it all up.
That sums it up, doesn't it?
That's where we are with this. And that's today's brand news.
John, Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks.
I've had an absolute ball.
Ball, is that a clue for what the next brand's going to be?
Well, depending on what you're saucing. Wait.
Sauce.
Okay.
Saucing. Depends what I'm saucing?
Depends.
That's the clue?
Depends what the ball is made of for should it complement the sauce.
What the hell are you trying to say?
Heinz. The great American sauce brand, Heinz.
I don't think of it as a sauce, but I can't wait. I love Heinz. So.
Well, tune in next week to hear all the squirt on Heinz. I look forward to chatting with Jon. Well, maybe we will do a little taste test. We'll see. We'll have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, tell your friends, tweet it out, make a billboard. I don't know. It's your life. I want to shout out to the brand freaks.
Oh, yeah. To all the brand freaks. We've gotten some heat on that. I don't know if I still totally support that name, but if people love it,
it's locked in. It's canon. Brand freaks, thank you so much for the love and support. We'll chat with you next week. See ya.
Bye.
It's on brand.